Namaskar students, welcome back to the another lecture which I am delivering on the magnetic field in matters. In this series of lectures, in my first lecture I have introduced the magnetic properties of material. So there I have introduced little bit how the paramagnetism come into the matter and then diamagnetism come into the matter. So basically because of the orbital motion of electron that give the diamagnetic nature, and this electron spin that gives the paramagnetic properties of the matter, because spin of the electron give the tiny dipole moment, and similarly the orbital motion also, orbital current also give the magnetic dipoles. So then I have introduced that and tried to calculate the magnetic vector potential of a magnetized object. Let us say we have a material and we have applied magnetic field. When we have applied magnetic field, then that material become magnetized. If material become magnetized, it means there within the material there are large number of tiny dipoles are there. Okay, and if you want to study the nature of that particular material which is magnetized, then we have to study, means we have to find out the magnetic field of that particular material. And in order to find out the magnetic field of that particular material, if we are able to find out the magnetic vector potential, and then if we know the magnetic vector potential A, then we can find out the magnetic field, that B is equal to, we know, that is del cross A. And before that I have introduced one term that was known as the magnetization. So we know if we apply a magnetic field, so because of the large number of tiny dipoles, okay, so in any material we have a large number of tiny dipole. So we have defined the magnetization term, that magnetization is basically, that is the large number of tiny dipoles per unit volume. So I have used the concept of magnetization in order to find out the vector potential of a magnetized object. Then we have learned that this vector potential of a magnetized object, that can be written in terms of two components. That first component was due to the volume bound current, and second component was due to the surface bound current. Okay, so we have defined and introduced two terms, that was volume bound current density, that was JB, and this volume bound current density JB is quite similar to the volume bound charge, as in case of electrostatic I have introduced the dielectric properties of the material. And similarly we have introduced surface bound current density, and this is again quite similar to the surface bound charge density in case of dielectric, in case of electrostatic, when we are doing that there. So here we have learned two things, that volume bound current density, that is JB, that is equal to del cross M, and another term that we have learned, that is surface current density KB, surface bound current density, that is KB, that is equal to M cross N unit vector. Remember, I am not saying these are the surface current density or volume current density. I am introducing volume bound current density and surface bound current density. Why I am calling this bound current density? Because these current come into the picture when we apply a magnetic field in a matter, or we can say when material become magnetized. So if you see the definition, so this of volume bound current density, that equal to del cross M, where M is the magnetization, means, or I will later on we can also say this volume bound current density, or this is also can be known as the another notation, that is Jm, that is magnetization current density, we can say, because this current density is originated because of the magnetization of the magnetic field, magnetization of the magnetic material. So in this lecture we will try to learn what are the physical interpretation, what is the physical interpretation of these bound currents. So let us say we have a magnetized object. Okay, in magnetized object we know there are large number of tiny dipoles are present. It means there may be within the material there are large number of circulating currents are there, and we know that circulating currents behave as a dipole, tiny dipole. So when we apply a uniform, let us say when we apply magnetic field and the material get magnetized uniformly throughout the volume, means material is uniformly magnetized throughout the volume. And it may be also there, this material may be not uniformly magnetized throughout the object. So first case I am considering then when material is magnetized uniformly. So if you see a picture of the material, let us say I have taken a slab of the material, and if you see that large number of tiny dipoles are present, okay, and these large number of tiny dipoles that gives the magnetization, let us say that is the direction of magnetization m, and we know that m is equal to small m, that is tiny dipoles, number of tiny dipoles, magnetic dipoles divided by volume of the object. So that is magnetization, and obviously this magnetization is in the same direction in the magnetic dipole. Okay, so if you see I have plotted this all the current, tiny currents which is flowing into the material, but here I have considered the shape of the dipoles current, that is in a circular shape, a rectangular shape. That for the our convenient, for just sake of simplicity, I have considered the square or rectangular case. If you see that one rectangle, one rectangle, one rectangle, one another rectangle, another rectangle, in each dipole current is flowing into the same direction. Let us say this is flowing current in this direction, and this is current flowing in this direction, and in this also current is flowing in this direction, in this also current is flowing in this direction, and in this also current is flowing in this direction, and this one is also current flowing in this same direction. It means if you clearly observe the direction of the currents between two neighboring dipoles, rectangular current, let us say this direction and this direction. So this current and this currents, they are equal in magnitude because magnetization is uniform. Okay, that means all the dipoles, whatever current is flowing in the rectangular loop, that have the same value. Okay, so this current and this current is equal in magnitude but opposite in direction. Similarly this current is equal in magnitude in opposite direction. Similarly this one, and similarly this one, and similarly this one, similarly this, all the currents you see. So internal current, if magnetization is uniform, then internal current cancel out each other. If you see the direction of current, so they cancel each other. But if you see the adjacent edges of the loop, if you see that adjacent at this edge, this edge, this edge, here this edge, this edge, this edge, at the edge there is a net current flowing into the material slab, and this adjacent current make another current that is equivalent to a single ribbon of a current I. So this is equivalent to this one because all the internal current that is cancelled out, and only the current is flowing at the surface of the ribbon. So this is equivalent, means this whole thing now is equivalent to this single ribbon of a current I. Okay, because all the internal current cancelled out each other. Now if you try to find out, in this case, let us say the thickness of the material is T and magnetization is along this direction. So if you simply replace this equivalent, this slab into equivalent slab, so that is this, all the internal currents cancel out, so that there is no net current and all the current is flowing at the surface. So let us say, so this is magnetization and this is the normal to the surface. So because current is flowing in this direction, so this is the normal to the surface unit vector. So in this case, if you try to find out the magnetic, because of this magnetization, total volume bound current density, so we know JB, if you write JB is equal to del cross M. Obviously, if you try to find out this JB, because all the internal current, if you have already earlier learned that all the internal current cancelled out, so this volume bound current density become equal to 0. That means JB is equal to del cross M, that becomes equal to 0 for the case of uniformly magnetized material. Remember, this volume current density becomes equal to 0 when the material is uniformly magnetized. That please always keep in mind. But if you see the surface bound current density, that is Kb, what we have introduced. So this Kb is equal to, we know, that is m cross n. So if you try to find out this surface current density, obviously, so this is n unit vector and this is magnetization vector. Current is flowing into this direction, there will be net dipoles. So obviously this m vector and normal to the surface vector, they are perpendicular. So we can write this surface current density Kb is equal to m cross n, or that is m sin theta, because theta is 90 degrees, we can write that Kb is equal to m cross n. So we can prove also, if we try to derive this expression. So we know, let us say, dipole moment of each tiny loop of current A, current of area A and thickness T. Let us say, if we write, so we know that magnetic dipole M is equal to I into area. So let us say, if we write, so M is equal to I into area, that is M, small m vector, that is dipole moment, is equal to current into area vector. Okay. And now we know that magnetization, we have defined magnetization is equal to number of dipole moments per unit volume. So we can write volume is equal to area into thickness. So we know the thickness of the slab, that is T. Okay. And let us say that area is A of the circular loop. So we can write the magnetic dipole moment M is equal to I into A, that is net current is flowing on the, that I current is flowing in area is A, so that is dipole moment. And this, if we divide this dipole moment with the magnetization vector, so that will give them with the volume of the material, then that will give the magnetization vector M. So we can write this magnetic moment in terms of capital M into A into T. Here this, if you try to find out from this formula, that is M is equal to capital M multiplied by d tau, and d tau is written as A into T. So this small m vector, that is dipole moment, can be written as a capital M magnetization into area into thickness, that is volume. Or and another definition of magnetic dipole moment is, we have written, that is M vector is equal to I into A. So this quantity means if you write, so this quantity and this quantity both are equal. Here also we have written small dipole moment, that is I into A. Here also the dipole moment is equal to, in terms of magnetization, M into A into T. So if you do that, then this area and area will be cancelled out. So what we will get, I is equal to, that is magnetization into thickness. So it means what we have, if you see here, so whatever current is flowing in terms of this where on the surface of the ribbon, that current can be written as the magnetization vector M into the thickness of the ribbon, that will give the current. Okay. So I is equal to M capital M vector, that is magnetization into thickness. Here I have again tried to show how it is represented. This current I is flowing at the surface, okay, in this direction, and this is the area. So your area is pointing along this direction, and magnetization is also pointing along this direction, and this is the thickness. So we can write this magnetization is equal to current into thickness. So that is the I is equal to magnetization into thickness. So that is giving the current. Okay. Now we have learned earlier that surface current density, in case of magnetostatic, when we are learning, I have introduced surface current density K is equal to di upon dl perpendicular, means current flowing perpendicular to the length perpendicular to the flow. Current divided by the length perpendicular to the flow. If you see here, current is flowing in this direction. Okay, current is flowing in this direction, in perpendicular length. If you see, what is the perpendicular length? That is thickness in this direction, that is in z direction. Okay, so this now here I am defining this surface current density. So surface surface bound current density, this Kb is equal to di upon dl perpendicular, or we can write current I is equal to integral Kb into dl perpendicular. So this dl perpendicular is what? That is dt. That is the thickness of the slab. So we can write I is equal to Kb, that is volume, surface bound current density into the thickness. Okay, so that is surface bound current density into the thickness, so that can be written as a current. This current and this current, if you see, we can equate. So if we equate these two currents, from this current, that is magnetization into T, and this current, that I is also equivalent to the surface current density into T. So this T and T will be cancelled out. If you do that, equate, so this T and will cancel out. That means surface bound current density can be written as a magnetization of that particular material M, capital M. And if you see here, as I have introduced, so this magnetization M and this normal to the surface, that is N unit vector, both are perpendicular to each other. So we can write, that means theta is equal to pi by 2. So we can write this quantity can be written as a kb sine pi by 2, means 1 m into 1, m in place of 1 we can write sine pi by 2. So that means we can write kb is equal to m cross n, because it doesn't change this value, because n is the unit vector along the surface and both are making an angle pi by 2. So that means kb again equal to m. So that means kb volume bound current density, sorry, surface bound current density kb can be written as a magnetization vector cross product with unit vector. This is n unit vector, okay, sorry. So this is n unit vector in terms of unit vector. So this is n unit vector, okay. So that what I have written here. So this equation, this for surface bound current density can be written as a magnetization vector cross product with unit vector, that is normal to the unit vector to the surface, okay. So now this is the case when our material is uniformly magnetized. So we have learned that all the internal, in case of uniformly magnetized material, internal current cancel out. So volume bound current density that become equal to 0, and surface bound current density that can be obtained, that can be written as a magnetization vector capital M cross product with normal unit vector to the surface unit n cap, okay. Now there may be the case when the material is not uniformly magnetized, means let us assume that for non-uniform case of magnetization, when the material is non-uniform magnetized, then obviously we know that internal current no longer cancel out, means the internal current what we have seen, they were cancelling each other because their magnitude was equal and the direction was opposite. Because of the opposite direction they cancel each other. But if it is non-uniformly magnetized, okay, that means as we change the position, the magnitude of magnetization and the magnitude of current, therefore that will change. So that means that if their magnitude is not same but their direction may be opposite, but it means the total net current will not cancel out, internal current will not cancel out. If internal current will not cancel out, then we will get some magnetization within the material, within the volume. So let us assume that we have a two adjacent chunk of magnetized material. We have a big object, but we have cutted that big object into a small pieces. Let us say one piece, another piece. This is two chunk of magnetized material, and let us say three-dimensional coordinate axis. So when this two chunk, we consider two chunk of material, magnetized material, placed close together, okay, and they are placed in a ZY plane. If this is placed in a ZY plane, then magnetization will be pointing, let us say current is flowing in this direction, that is in, let's say this internal current that is flowing in this direction, then the magnetization obviously that will be along the Z direction. Current is flowing along the X direction actually, that is in three dimension, that is current is flowing in along the X direction, that is this direction, and this arrows, the bigger arrows shows the this is more, this having more magnitude than this magnitude. So that is why I have shown this thicker arrow and this is thinner arrow. And this material is placed, let us say this thickness is dz and this thickness is dy, okay. Similarly, so this here they are placed in a dy direction, and similarly one can place this material in zy plane above. Here their sides and may be placed in above also, one above. So this is dy and this is dz, okay. Now current is flowing again in the same direction, that is in jx direction, that is in x direction. So here also current is flowing in x direction, here also current is flowing in x direction. But here material, the two chunks are placed y plus dy, y plus dy, but here the materials are placed in a z plus z plus dz. So total here distance, that is thickness, that is dz, here that is dy, and here this is dz and this is dy. Okay, and in this case this current in current in x direction, but here the current direction will change, that is reverse. So in this case obviously magnetization will be the perpendicular to the current. Okay, so this current will give this current will give a magnetization along the y direction, that is my, and this is my. My, that is function of z, and this is my, that is function of z plus dz. Okay, and this is obviously that is magnetization is along the z direction, that is function of y, and this is magnetization is in z direction, that is function of y plus dy. Here we are changing the position in y direction. Okay, and we are observing the magnetization in z direction due to the flow of current in x direction. And here we are placing two chunks in z direction, z plus dz. Okay, and current is flowing in minus x direction, and we are observing magnetization in y direction. Okay, so let us try to find out. And similarly we can place these two chunks in, I have placed here in zy plane. Similarly we can place these two chunks in xy plane. In xy plane, if you put in xy planes, here we are changing the position of x, so current is changing in z direction, and here again we are changing, we are putting two chunks in different y positions. So here it is giving magnetization in y direction, here it will give magnetization in x direction, and this current is flowing in minus jz, sorry. So here this is minus jz, so this should be minus jz, so jz, it should be jz. Okay, and similarly if you see here, we can put the material in xy plane, sorry xz plane. If you put in xz plane, so current will flow in y direction, and here we are changing the position in z direction. So this is the first chunk which is placed at position z, and second chunk, adjacent chunk, that is placed at z plus dz. So this is giving magnetization in x direction, that is mx due to z, and this is giving magnetization in x due to z plus dz. If you see here, I have shown the size of the arrow of magnetization of different length. So this is showing that this magnetization is having larger magnitude than this magnetization. So this is again, if this magnetization is having larger magnitude than this magnetization. Similarly, if you see here, I have shown the symbol of current also thicker. That means this current is having larger magnitude than this current. Okay, if obviously current have a larger magnitude, then obviously magnetization will be larger magnitude. Similarly, I have shown in same figure, so here that I have changed the z plus dz to magnetization in x direction, current is flowing in y direction. Okay, so this is dz thickness and this is dx width. Okay, and similarly if you change the position of chunks in in x direction, current is flowing in minus y direction. Okay, that is minus jy, and this gives the magnetization in z direction, that is mz due to x and mz due to x plus dx. So this is these are the 6 possible combination of the chunks. If you combine all together, so here I have cutted all the pieces and shown on the 6 different positions. If you consider a one chunk, so that can be placed in a 3-dimensional coordinate axis, so it will give a total net current within the material due to the volume current, because here current is not uniform. Okay, so let us try. I will consider the case first when the material two adjacent chunks are placed in a zy plane, and here I have changed the y position, here I will change the z position, and then I will calculate the current, and I will try to calculate the magnetization, and I will try to find out what is the value of volume current density. Okay, and this I will left these two. Similarly we can do these two, and then I will conclude the result. So let's try to find out. So as we have seen when I was defining for the case of surface current density also, so we know that magnetic dipole moment, that can be written as that can be defined in a two way, that is current into area, that I into A we know, where area is a vector. And another thing that is we can define, we know that can be defined in terms of magnetization, so magnetization into volume. Okay, and volume can be written as the area into the perpendicular width. So I have written here, if you see, that magnetic dipole moment M can be written as I into area vector. This magnetic dipole moment will point along the area vector direction. If you see here, so the area vector is, if you see, current is flowing somewhere in the x direction. So dx, if you see the area vector, the area vector is perpendicular to the area vector. So if you see this area vector dipole moment, okay, so area vector is along this direction. If you see current is flowing here, so my area vector is along this direction, that means dipole moment will be along this direction. Okay, so that is why if you see magnetization, so then we can write magnetization into volume, that is area into dl perpendicular. So this is the area. If you see here, that is, these are the area and this is the perpendicular length. We can write the magnetization. So this will give the area, this is the area, sorry. So this will give the area, okay, and this will give the perpendicular length. These are the perpendicular length. So I will show. So we can write, it means this area vector and area vector will be cancelled out. We can write current will be equal to magnetization vector dot product with dl perpendicular, the perpendicular length to the current, perpendicular length to the magnetization. Remember. So this is current in any chunk can be written as a magnetization into dot product with the perpendicular length. Okay. So let us consider for the first case, for the slab kept in zy plane. Okay, that is magnetization in z direction as I have shown. If we keep the slab in zy plane, so there may be magnetization may be in two direction. One magnetization will be along the z direction because of this jx current. Another magnetization will be along the y direction, that is because of this jx current in, that is minus del my upon del z, because of the minus jx current. Okay. So if you do that, what we will get? We will get we can write this current I can means, let us say di current is changing. So change in current is di when we are moving from adjacent to adjacent chunk. Okay. So if you see here again in the figure, so let us say here di, here the current and here the current. Here the magnitude of current is larger than this magnitude current. So net current, that will be obviously equal to this current minus this current, and this current can be written as magnetization into the perpendicular length, and this current can be written as magnetization into the perpendicular length. So that's what I am doing. Okay. So if you do that, so dix, because the current is flowing in x direction, the dix, change in current in x direction, that can be written as mz y plus dy, that is magnetization, this magnetization minus magnetization at y plus dy position minus magnetization as at y position, because of the first chunk and because of the second chunk. The magnetization due to second chunk minus magnetization due to the first chunk multiply by the perpendicular length. So that is mz y plus dy minus mz at y into, this is net magnetization. Okay. So this is giving net magnetization into perpendicular length. So if you see the perpendicular length, so that is magnetization is in this direction. So this is area is in basically dx and dy. So area is, that is dx dy. If you can find out the direction of the area vector, dx dy into z unit vector. Okay, that means we have to consider length, perpendicular length, that will be dz. Okay, so that is why I have written here, if you see, so that is dz. So this is the magnetization. So this is giving the net magnetization and this is giving the perpendicular length, that is dz. Why I have taken dz? Because area is in the direction of, area is basically dx dy and the direction of area is along the z direction. This means z is the perpendicular length. So that is why I have taken dz. So we can write dx can be written as, now if we can do the Taylor series expansion. If you do the Taylor series expansion here, so this can be written as mz, which is function of y, plus del mz upon del y into dy plus higher order term plus higher order term minus mz function of y, bracket close, that is dz. So this you see, this will be equal, so this will be cancelled out. So what we will get? We will get dx is equal to del mz upon del y into dy, this dy, and we open the bracket, this multiply with the dz. So dx is equal to d del mz upon del y into dy dz. Okay. Now we'll define volume current density as I have already defined in my previous lectures. Volume current density JB, that can be written as a di upon dA perpendicular, current divided by the perpendicular area. So now if you see here, current is flowing along the x direction. Obviously the perpendicular area to the x, what will be the, that is dy dz. dy dz will be the perpendicular to the x direction. Okay, so that means, so we can write this here for the case Jx current, that volume current density in x direction, volume current density in x direction, that Jx can be written as dix divided by dy dz, that is perpendicular area. Because magnetization, this current is flowing along the x direction, so perpendicular area, that is dy dz. So this can Jx can be written as, it means del mz. If you here, if you divide dy by dy dz, so this will be cancelled out. So this will give del mz upon del y. So that means current density, volume current density along the x direction, that which is originating magnetization along the z direction when chunks are placed in the y position, dy positions. Okay, chunks are placed in y direction and magnetization is along the z direction and current is flowing in x direction. So this volume current density Jx will be equal to del mz upon del y. Okay, so this is this current what we have calculated. This current is because of the this chunk, that is first chunk of what I have shown, that is because of this. Here magnetization is in z direction, chunks are placed very close to each other in by changing the y position, and the thickness of the chunks, width of the chunks are dz. Magnetization is along z direction and current is flowing in the x direction. So that is why Jx I have written, that is del mz upon del y. Similarly, if you do the same things for when chunks are placed in zy plane and they are placed changing the position in z direction of thickness dy. Okay, so this will give the magnetization in y direction because of z and because of the z plus dz. So this will give the current, that Jx will be equal to minus del my upon del z. I have did this. So if you see clearly, so what we will observe. So yes, I have done here. Similarly, if you write, so this will give dix is equal to minus my z plus dz, magnetization in y direction at position z plus dz, minus magnetization in y direction at position z. So this is giving the net magnetization into the perpendicular length. The perpendicular length is what? That is dy. Okay, that is perpendicular length, that is dy. So if you do the again Taylor series expansion, so this will be cancelled out, so this will be remaining. So what we will get, dix is equal to minus del my upon del z into, so here it will give, I think, yeah, it will give the dz. So here it will give, so this will give dz, so this should be dz. So this will be dz. Okay, so this will give dix is equal to minus del my upon del z into dz dy. This dz and this dy. Okay, so we can write Jx is equal to, that is minus del my upon del z. That means current is flowing along the x direction, minus x direction, because of the magnetization in y direction when we have changed, when we have count the chunks or change the chunks in z direction. So net bound current, therefore we can write net bound, this is also Jx and this is also Jx, both current is flowing in the x direction. Okay, so net volume bound current which is flowing along the x direction, that can be written as obviously this current and this current. So that will be del mz upon del y minus del my upon del Z. So this is the net bound current flowing along the x direction. Similarly, we can have done for the when chunk is placed in a, let us say, here I have placed ZY plane, so we can place in XY plane and ZX plane. So if you do for ZX plane, so it current will flow in Y direction, ZX plane that will give the Y direction, and similarly when we place in XY plane, that it will give JZ current, and XY plane that it will give the JZ current. If you do that, so now I'm leaving this part, you can do and cross check. So this will give current. If you do the for JBY, so bound current in Y direction, that will give the del mx upon del z minus del mz upon del x, bracket close. Similarly, for volume bound current in z direction, that will give the del my upon del x minus del mx upon del y. Okay. So if we write the total current in general, because material is current is flowing in 3-dimensional, total current. So obviously that current density vector JB can be written as a bound. This is, remember, this is bound current. This bound current is coming because of the magnetization. So this bound current can be written as JB in x unit vector, JB y component y unit vector, JB z component z unit vector. So if you substitute all this value, so JB can be written as del mz upon del y minus del my upon del z x unit vector, plus if you see here, so that is this del mx upon del z minus del mz upon del x y unit vector, plus del my upon del x minus del my del y into z unit vector. So this all I have sum up. If you sum this, so this volume bound current density is exactly equal to the del cross M. What I have did assumption when I was calculating the vector potential due to a magnetized object. So this means that volume bound current density of any magnetized object can be written as a JB is equal to del cross M. And remember, this volume bound current density term del cross M is non-zero, is giving some value, giving some current when material is non-uniformly magnetized. Remember, if material is uniformly magnetized, we have seen JB is equal to 0 because internal current cancel out. But if it is non-uniformly magnetized, then internal current no longer cancel each other, then we will get net volume bound current density within the material, that is equal to del cross M. Okay. If we try to find out some properties of this volume bound current density, so like similar other current, we know that current follow the current conservation law, the conservation of charges. So this JB also follows the conservation of charges. So that means one can find out, we know that from the equation of continuity, del dot J is equal to minus del rho upon del T. Okay. So if we try to find out this divergence of JB, so we know this, if you take the divergence of JB is equal to divergence of curl of M. So we know that divergence of curl of any vector, that is always equal to 0. So this is equal to 0. So divergence of JB is equal to 0, and this shows that conservation law, conservation of charges. Okay. So in this lecture, physical interpretation of bound currents in magnetized object. So we have learned that if any magnetized material is there, if magnetization is uniform, then the net volume bound current density, that will be equal to 0, that is del cross M, or JB will be equal to 0, and there will be net current, that is surface current. So surface current KB will be equal to K cross M cross N unit vector. Okay. But if material is non-uniformly, okay, if material is non-uniformly magnetized, then internal current no longer cancel out, then we will get net volume bound current density within the material, and that net volume bound current density will be equal to del cross M. I have derived the formula for the current volume bound current density, that is del cross M. Okay. Remember, when material is non-uniformly magnetized, it doesn't mean that there is no surface bound current density. Obviously, when material is non-uniformly magnetized, JB will be there, this del cross M will be there, along with the surface bound current density will be also there, that KB will be equal to M cross N. Okay. In case of non-uniformly magnetized material, both current will exist. Remember, JB will also exist and KB will also exist. Means del cross M will also survive and M cross N unit vector will also survive for the case of non-uniformly magnetized material. But for the case of uniformly magnetized material, this JB will be equal to 0, means this will not survive because internal current cancel out, and surface current KB will survive, that is equal to M cross N unit vector. So I hope you understood my lecture. So I have tried to explain this lecture in a nice way. If you have any doubt, suggestions, comments, please give your comments on my YouTube channel. Thanking you very much for listening.